Our next race is for the City of Ferndale, Council Position 5. There are 2 candidates on the ballot for this race, and they are candidates Gary Sandu and Ryan O'Leary. Candidate Sandu is unable to be here, however, he has sent a statement to read, which I will read in just a few moments. Candidate O'Leary will respond to questions. Ferndale City Council is the legislative and policy-making body of the city government. Council members are responsible for passing laws through ordinance and policies through resolutions, and they approve the annual budget initially proposed by the mayor. Position 2 term of office is 4 years with an annual salary of $7,300. We will follow specific rules for this debate, which will be a little bit different because we only have one of the candidates here today. The candidate will have 2 minutes for the opening statement, and then I will read candidate Sandu's statement. Candidates have 1 minute to respond to each question, and we'll make a 1-minute closing statement. Timers Judy Hopkinson and Elizabeth Dean are tracking the time here in front. Timers will flash a yellow sign when 15 seconds remain and a red sign to signal that time is up. If candidate continues, a bell will be rung to signal stop talking, and we will stick to the rules even with only one candidate. We ask that the candidates be respectful of the time allotted due to the limited amount of time that we have and our desire to include as many questions as possible. An important goal of the league is civil discussion. To that end, we ask that those in the audience be respectful, refrain from comments, and as well hold your applause till the conclusion of the discussion. Some questions were prepared by our league question committee. We also encourage members of the audience to provide written questions, which will be addressed to all the candidates. Obviously, we only have one to answer. Ushers are available to pick up your questions. Ushers, can you hold up your hand so people can see? And they will come and get your questions, which we will read for the candidate that's with us. Questions will then be screened by league members Annette Holcomb and Cindy Madigan. They'll be screening for legibility and clarity and to avoid duplication. Candidate O'Leary will go first, and then I will read the prepared statement from candidate Sandu. Okay, I've conflicting information on 2 different slips of paper, so I will read the statement from candidate Sandu, and then candidate O'Leary will make his statement. Timers, are you ready? Pardon? No, I don't think so. It's not terribly long. So I'm going to read this as written, and obviously I'm not the candidate. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Sandu, and I am running for Ferndale City Council Position 5. I appreciate the opportunity to have this statement read to the crowd gathered for today's forum, and I apologize that I could not be with you there in person for this event. It is with a twinge of irony that I write to say that the reason I cannot be with you today is because of a family obligation, because looking at my own family and kids and thinking about the town our experiences are being built on is exactly what has spurred me to run for office. This is a critical time for the direction of our city, and it is incredibly exciting to see how many first-time candidates have stepped up to the plate. I and my opponent in our race, as well as others in the races for several other council positions, have stepped forward into the political arena with bold plans and great energy. I believe one of the most basic principles of a participatory democracy is to distill power down from distant places to the local level. An election can't get any more local than one for city council. At this level, the social issues that divide us nationally aren't present, and we're faced with the practical issues of keeping our communities safe, our infrastructure up to date, and ensuring our city is a desirable place to live and work. My top 3 priorities are to improve basic infrastructure, address waste management, and to bridge the gap between city administration and the community. I believe a team effort of community, city council, and city staff will make this happen. As a member of the city council, I will ask the tough questions and hold the city accountable for every dollar spent. For more information, please log into my website at votesandu.com or follow me on our Facebook page, Gary Sandu for Ferndale City Council Position 5. I am guided by this simple principle: listen, learn, and then lead. In practice, this means listening openly to the hopes and concerns of all of our community members with a goal of building a better Ferndale, one that thrives economically and maintains that small town feel that flourishes in our neighborhoods. We live in a great city. Let's work together to make it an even better place to live, work, and play. It would be a great privilege to serve my community on City Council. Thank you, your neighbor, Gary Sandu. Candidate O'Leary, your opening statement.
All right, thank you. Thanks everybody for being here, and thanks to the League for putting this on. It's a great opportunity to speak to you directly. So I've been motivated throughout my career when there's been a situation that seems impossible, where people say, you know, don't even try, it's not worth it. And I see one of those situations here in Ferndale, and today is a great example of it. So Ferndale is a city of about 15,000 people, and at any given city council meeting you have 10, 20 people who show up. Even at a great event like this, there are still, you know, far fewer people present than the passion level that exists within our city. And I know that the city has that passion because I see it and I hear it, but people too often are hearing about issues after the council has already voted on them. At that point, they're frustrated by them because they feel like they didn't have an opportunity to participate. And there's lots of reasons why people can't participate. It may be kids, it may be a family member that they're taking care of. They may have a personal issue where they can't travel or they can't make it to meetings. But we lose out on those voices when they're not heard. And I want to hear those voices. And I want to do it in a way that's different than anybody has ever done it before. So my purpose in running is to find those voices that are being missed today. So what I will do specifically is, before any vote that I take at the City Council, I will send out a survey, electronic survey, to anybody who's willing to participate via either text or email. In that survey, I'll list the pros, the cons, my opinion, and I will ask you to tell me, am I headed in the right direction or the wrong direction? And if I'm heading in the wrong direction, I want to know why, and I want to know what your better idea is. So that's my vision for how I will improve participation. Thank you.
First question. What experiences would you bring as a city council member that would most inform your decision making?
Sure. So my career, I went to the University of Notre Dame. I studied civil and environmental engineering and received my degree from there. I then worked in a refinery in Indiana for BP, and then I transferred here to the BP Cherry Point refinery. Throughout my career, I have managed budgets, so I've managed budgets in excess of the Ferndale City Council budget, so I have experience there. I've been passionate about water and wastewater issues. I ran an operations team. I was the technical lead for a wastewater treatment plant, the same technology that the city has chosen for the future wastewater treatment plant here, the expansion. So I bring experience from the wastewater perspective, from managing budgets, and I think all those will roll together to make me a very effective councilperson. Thank you.
Ferndale is growing fast and more families are moving to the city. What additional investments do you think that the city should make to meet the needs of these young families?
So I think it's not just about young families. I think it's about everybody, and I think what we should do is focus on the infrastructure problems that we have. So the fundamental issue that I see is water and wastewater, and what we're going to do to secure those for the long term. We have a problem now that the current aquifer that we're drawing from, the levels continue to decline year on year, and we have a solution to that, which is the deep water aquifer that we've identified, but we don't yet have the water rights to those, so we need to secure those water rights, and we need to ensure that we have a long-term sustainable plan for growth, which includes water and infrastructure.
What steps would you take to put the city on firmer financial footing?
So I think the city itself is on adequate footing, and I think the problem that I see is that people are struggling more than the city itself is struggling. So what I mean by that, so what you may not know is that your water and sewer bills are going to go up. They are expected to go up $15 per month. That is $30 per cycle. So on your bill, you will see a $30 increase on average. And to some people they'll be okay with that. But for most people, low-income people who are on a fixed income, that is difficult. That is diapers. That is medicine. That is gas for your car. And what I want to do, and I think I'll talk to it more, is find an offset. So find a tax offset within the city so that your overall bill to the city stays flat.
So with only one candidate, our time is quite short. This will actually be our last question. What actions would you take to increase diversity within the city's workforce?
That's a tough question. But I think what I would say is it's important to listen to the small voices, the voices that may have been overlooked or may not be the loudest. So what I would say is a diversity of opinions is important for any city decision. And if we're not seeking out those voices, if we're not providing them an easy pathway to provide their voice and their opinions, the city is losing out. So ideas are the currency of politics. And when we exclude ideas because we haven't made it easy enough for those ideas to come forward, we're limiting ourselves, and the diversity of opinions that are present are limited.
And now, candidate O'Leary, please give your closing statement.
Okay. Well, that was very quick. But again, I appreciate everybody being here. I very much appreciate that you are taking the time to be here. But I recognize that there are other people who can't. There are people, families out. There's a football game going on right now, so they can't be here. And there's tons of other reasons why people can't be here, obviously. So my goal in sending out the survey before I vote is to make it so that all of those people can participate. The people who are at the football field right now could be reading about the topic, could be reading about the pros and cons and my opinion of it. They could be telling me right now how they feel about an issue before I vote. And I think that's really important to get more voices in the room. I am pleased to be endorsed by both the 42nd LD Democrats and the Whatcom Republicans. I think that every voice is important, and I would really appreciate it if you visit my website, o'leary.com. Thank you.
Please join me in thanking candidate O'Leary for being here.